Okay, so we're going to talk to you about enrichment today. Food in a bowl, boring. Way more interesting ways to feed your dog their dinner. So our suggestion for you is that you measure out their food into a container in the morning and feed them their daily food allowance through various food delivery toys and even for their training. This is really great enrichment for a dog. It's an outlet for those natural doggy behaviours, sniffing, foraging, chewing, problem solving, and it makes their dinner really good fun. Sassy's going to show us a few things in a minute, but just for now we'll talk through what we've got here at the table. Everything here is out of a recycle bin, so I've got an empty tissue box and pop a couple of treats inside there, and your dog has to rip open the box to get the food out. Same with the little cracker boxes. We've got a toothpaste box. Tomato punnets are great. They also have little holes already in them, so the food will naturally fall out if you've got a small biscuit. Paper towel roll, fold one end over first, pop your treats inside, fold the other end over, and you've got a little doggy lolly. Egg containers, absolutely brilliant. Normally you can use them a couple of times. Pop your treats inside, close it up, dog has to get the food out. This is a water bottle with dog's dinner inside. I've also put a couple of little holes just in the side here because my dogs are not particularly good at getting them out this end. One thing to really note about using your own stuff from your recycle bin is being careful that your dog doesn't eat plastic, bits of plastic, or too much of the paper or cardboard. That's not going to be good for them in the long run. If you are going to use recycling items from home, make sure the first time you do it, you supervise your dog just to make sure that they aren't eating too much of that plastic. Other alternatives include purpose-made treat delivery toys, things like balls that you put food inside. The dog has to roll the ball around to get the food out. Various different shapes. These ones you can put the biscuits inside and top it up with something sticky so the biscuits stay inside. They have to lick and chew and move it around to get the food out. Same with the Kongs. Kongs come in various sizes and also various strengths. So black Kongs, very good for our strong chewers. This is called a squirrel buddy, same idea, put the food inside. It's got some little tabs that actually hold the biscuits in a little bit harder. And another toy that they can roll around the floor, and you can set it to easy or hard depending on the number of holes you leave open for your dog. And lastly, on my side I've got this is a silicone pop mat. We've just smeared some peanut butter onto the little grooves and it becomes a lick mat. These cost $2 from Kmart and they're brilliant. The dogs will work at these for 15-20 minutes.
And I think one question we always get asked is what sort of peanut butter is okay to feed to dogs. We go with the Pix peanut butter and preferably the reduced salt. So we want to stay away from any peanut butter that's got any artificial sweeteners or preservatives in it and not too much salt. And we're not feeding them a lot, maybe a tablespoon at a time. Another little item you can get from Kmart is a slow feeder. So this is just a silicone food bowl and again way more interesting than just a boring old food bowl. You scatter the dog's dinner through there, so at least that slows them down, and that's a really good idea if you have a quick eater. Maybe those of you with labs they like to gulp their food down in a couple of seconds, slow them down with a slow feeder. So guys, as well as problem solving and working to get the food out of these food delivery toys, we think chewing is a hugely important thing for dogs to be able to do each day, especially if you have a teething puppy or a bored adolescent that is chewing up your furniture or chewing up the backyard. You need to be providing them with things that they can chew, so it's really important that you're giving them good alternatives to your furniture. So one of our favourite chews is the cow hoof or a moose shoe. It's all natural keratin cow's hoof and they're really cheap. You get them for $1. One of our favourite stores to get all of these natural chews is Raw Essentials, and you'll probably have one quite close to you there. A lot of stores in Auckland. So Raw Essentials, great store for natural chews. What we like to do with the cow's hooves is to stuff them with mints and freeze them. So we're going to put this in the freezer, make sure it's nice and hard, bring it out for the dogs, and then that gives them a really good chew toy, basically, that's pretty cheap. If you again have a puppy that's teething or an adolescent dog that's really bored, organise 4 or 5 of these, keep them frozen in your freezer and bring them out each day. Great way to feed your dogs some food. You can also do the same with the Kong. You can put your dog's kibble in the Kong, put a little bit of water in it, freeze it, and now that makes their dinner last a lot longer. So some of the chews that we like to use will be varying strengths depending on the size of your dog and how quickly they like to chew. Some of the softer ones are these venison straps, so these are good for puppies or very small dogs with small teeth. Sassy would get through this in about 2 seconds, so maybe not a long-lasting treat for her. What she likes are the venison tendons, so they're a lot harder and it's going to take her a lot longer to get through. Again, all natural, just a venison tendon. If you want to be brave, you can go with something like the lamb's trachea, really nutritious, a little bit crunchy, but great for boredom busting when your dogs are home alone. We love these deer's ears, and they're dipped in liver, so they're especially delicious for the dogs. And often with the ears, they have little holes in them, so what we'll often do is put a little bit of peanut butter in there or a couple of biscuits, so that almost makes it like a food delivery toy that the dogs get to chew. And lastly, probably one of our favourite ones are the bully sticks. So these are probably a medium hardness between your venison straps and the venison tendons. The bully sticks will last most dogs probably 10 to 15 minutes, so that's a great thing to do. When you leave the house, you give them one of these. Again, if it's the first time that you're feeding any of this stuff, make sure you supervise first before you leave the dogs unattended with them. And some of the treats that we like to use, we mostly like to stick to natural treats. So the liver chips are great. You can break them into tiny bits. They can go into your slow feeder, into your food delivery toys, or into your recycling toys, and give the dog a puzzle to keep them busy.